There's no goal to attain. When we try to achieve a goal, then most of the time we just try to avoid something that's already present. In this life, we just have pain and pleasure, and we constantly try to escape from pain, and we try to achieve pleasure, and we think that enlightenment is somehow a state of constant pleasure. That's why the search for enlightenment is so exhausting, you know. But you can realize that there's no goal involved. Basically, like the enlightenment, or the awakening, or the liberation, the freedom, the non-resistance happens in the moment where you just decide to no longer stop the feeling that you're trying to run away from, and you just sit down and feel it. Which doesn't mean that you feel it in order to heal it. You just don't fight with it. Okay, there's pain, but there's nobody there that's trying to get rid of pain. I mean, you just give up. There's no goal anymore. It's just like, okay, let's say for example, you're here and you feel any kind of negative emotion, jealousy, anger, like take whatever fits right now. Then you just sit there, close your eyes, and then tell yourself, okay, that's the feeling that's here right now. The thoughts that are talking about it, they're also here. And I just give up, lay down my weapons, don't fight with it anymore. Boom. Like that's it. Of course, I mean, then something could happen after that, but you shouldn't do it to get this. When you lay down your weapons and you don't fight anymore, then you have laid down all of your personal ambitions to become something, which is the end of psychological time, which creates the suffering. I mean, psychological time creates the suffering when you're no longer resisting the reality of right now, inwardly. Then there is no psychological time anymore, which creates the suffering. Then there is just the pure pain. But because you're no longer fighting it, you're no longer resisting it, then you're no longer feeding it, you're no longer making the fire even bigger, and you just burn in the fire. You give up the fight. You give up this voice in your head, or you give up this feeling or this will that says that you have to improve your situation right now, like inwardly. Like you can, of course, if you can change your external circumstances, but most of the time, psychologically, the psyche isn't really something that you can touch and like try to change, and like when you let go, and somehow it straightens itself out. So it's like there's a fire, and then we have this impulse, like this fire burns, so we want to get rid of the fire, we want to fight the fire, and therefore we put more fire into the fire, and it's a tragedy. So when you just sit there, you give up all the ambitions, even you're just sitting. I mean, if you would call it meditation, and I do like to call it meditation, but for some minds, when they say I'm going to meditate, then that feels like an act that they do in order to change something. But meditation is not something you do to change something. Meditation is just the end of effort, the end of the fighter, the end of resistance. You just surrender. So you just sit and you don't do anything, which sounds very counterintuitive to the mind, because the mind thinks in order to change something, especially the uncomfortable things in life, you have to tackle them. You have to do something about it. But to be honest, the best things in my life, they all just manifested. Not because I was intending a certain thing. I wasn't talking with the universe, please give me this. I was just letting go, and all of a sudden, people came into my life, situations came into my life, a new apartment came into my life. It's like I wasn't doing anything. But when I'm trying to struggle, when I'm trying to figure things out, when I'm worrying, then I just fall into depression, you know? And who wants to have depression? So just let go. It's like you fall into a deeper state within yourself, which sounds very mystical, but it's literally the thing that happens. It's an experience that happens when you're on the surface. It's like when you're constantly in those beta brain waves and you're constantly stressed and you're thinking about superficial stuff and you're worrying and you're just living the normal day-to-day life. Then you're on the surface of your ego. But when you're sitting down or laying down or just relaxing and closing your eyes, you don't even have to close them. It's just that, you just don't do anything for a moment or for a longer moment. And all of a sudden, you don't fight your thoughts, you don't fight your feelings, you just surrender totally. You don't try to understand what all the gurus mean by saying this and that. You just totally do the most natural thing that you can do, which is just being, because you're a human being. So what happens is at some point you'll realize that everything starts to feel more spacious. You will fall deeper. It's like I'm using words to describe an experience. Like you're not actually falling deeper in the sense that your body is falling through the object that you're sitting on. It's like, but it's just the sense that you're getting. It's like falling, and you fall deeper, as I said. And then there's like a state in which you just know that this is like I'm locked in. This is like the connection that I was looking for. This is like the joy that they were talking about when they said that there is a kind of peace that is available in awakening, in meditation. So in a strange way, it kind of takes away your will to be ambitious, but at the same time you don't worry because you feel guided naturally. It's like wu wei. And also your ambition to find out what the meaning of life is also falls away because you recognize that it's just a concept. Like, as soon as you realize that words are really just, when you're speaking words, then you're just speaking sounds. When you're writing them down, it's just dots and lines. So even to say meaning of life, it's just a collection of either sounds or dots and lines. Or when you're trying to find the meaning, then you are also looking for a concept. And in order, even if you think that you have found the meaning of life, then you just bought into a concept that a human came up with. So trying to find the meaning of life through your mind won't lead you to the meaning of life. It will lead to illusion. To me, the meaning of life is when you lay down the search, you lay down the mind. You don't use the mind to find the meaning of life. You just totally surrender. And then there's an actual experience. Like you have, like when you are, let me tell you this, that one time in my life I was like really looking for God. I just don't know why. I just had to find out what God is, and I even became a Christian for a short time, and I really was reading the Bible, and it was a real struggle, like probably the worst time in my life, really. So and the problem was Like everyone around me when I was a Christian, they all seemed as if they had found God. But I wasn't satisfied with just reading the Bible because I had so many questions that they couldn't answer me. Like when I was asking questions that were like questioning their way of thinking because I was just going a bit deeper and it wasn't comfortable for them anymore, they became annoyed with my questions because they were just like, bro, chill, just believe in God. It's like, but I cannot just, I'm not satisfied with the concept. I want to have the experience. Like I want to feel embraced, you know? But they were just like satisfied with the imagination. And that's just not what I want. So, yeah, so I was on the search for God. Search for peace, inner peace, or God, or liberation, or heaven, paradise, whatever you want to call it. Later, I had a new word for it: enlightenment, awakening, non-duality. I just wanted to have this peace, this thing, you know? And it cannot be in a concept, you cannot write about it, you cannot put it into words and give it to someone. You can just point to it and say, you know, don't do anything, surrender your mind, and you will notice that it is here as an actual experience when you're no longer fighting the thing that you're constantly trying to avoid. Like the pain, the frustration, the negative feelings, and just totally become what you're supposed to be, which is a human being instead of a human doing. Yeah, so that's basically it. All of these attempts to find, to attain a goal, I'm not saying it's wrong, but it's made by the mind. It's like, even, for example, psychological goals. Like if you pursue a goal, make sure that it's based on reality. Like for example, if you want to repair a table, that you can achieve that goal. But if you want to achieve enlightenment through the mind, means that you have an idea of what enlightenment is supposed to be, which is again a creation of the mind and a concept. You got it from somewhere, then you try to override the current reality with what you think reality is supposed to be if enlightenment would be present. You see? Which means that you're totally not in acceptance to what is. So yeah, I think that's it for today.